Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Teardown. Teardown is a voxel-based destruction game that can be played in many different ways. It's a voxel-based heisting game where you can plan and perfect your heist using the tools that they give you. What is Teardown? Teardown is a voxel-based destruction game in which you plan your heist and perfect it to get all the cards, paintings, etc. and get out of there on boat or vehicle. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do in Teardown, and especially there's a lot of things that you can do in general. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can speed run. You can break glass. You can break into his house. You can set the house on fire, and you can throw things at windows. You can basically do everything that you could do in real life and just a little bit more. Now, Teardown has been the hype train of the year, and with its final release being October 29th, 6 a.m., I got my hands on it early, bright and early. As they say, early bird gets the worm. Now, basically, why should you get Teardown? First, let's start off on what is it, and what is the gameplay aspect. Teardown is voxel-based, meaning that Teardown isn't made with your basic primitives like circles and squares and triangles. It's used by only tiny cubes that are all rigid bodies, which means they all interact with each other and they all interact with how the world works. Now, this is a big deal because it's not like Red Faction Guerrilla. That simulated your basic primitives, and it simulated what real life is like. This simulates just more, and as I can say, it does run very well. I played Teardown on a GTX 1060, and it is more graphics card intensive than anything. So if anything to play Teardown, you're going to want a good amount of RAM and a good graphics card. Now, I will say you can play on lower than a 1060. Might be crazy, but it's true. Blue Drake played on a 970, and his gameplay looked pretty smooth on video. As long as you're not doing something that can completely crash the game, you should be fine. Now, what is a good review for Teardown? A good review for Teardown for me would be not disappointment, but somewhat close to it. I found myself getting a little bored of Teardown after a little while. And I found myself doing and I found myself lost because I just kind of wanted to play sandbox and mess around. But the game kind of, in a way, forces you to do the story. You see, you can't play sandbox until you do the story. You can't play the first original map that was announced in the trailer, as seen on the screen right now. This was Lee Chemicals. You can't play that until you at least complete a couple missions in the story mode campaign for Teardown. And it's kind of sad and sickening to me. They did the same thing Boneworks did, in a way. In Boneworks, to get things in Sandbox, you had to completely, basically, go on a scavenger hunt for the items you wanted to use. And for the NPCs, the guns, the melee weapons, you had to go on a scavenger hunt for them. And yes, Teardown is a little different from that, but it's not so far from it. Instead of having to go on a scavenger hunt for your items, you kind of just have to play the story mode, and you can't play Sandbox fully until you complete the full story mode, which is kind of sad to me. In this video, as you're seeing on screen right now, I had basically 3 maps unlocked in Sandbox and not very many melee weapons slash guns or explosives. I didn't have many, but I still had a good amount. Now, I will have a save file for you so you can get away from this problem. Now, there in the description, this is one that Blue Drake posted out. Blue Drake posted this on his official Teardown Discord server, Teardown about modding server. The link is also in the description for that as well if you guys want to join. Blue Drake, if you are a big fan of him, I've talked to him a couple times in public voice chats because he does go inside of those quite often, so you can get a chance to mod, talk with the community, and even talk to Blue Drake himself if you get the chance. When I was in this server, I got a free Steam key from a game that I'm not going to say yet, but will be coming soon on September 30th. It's called Sector's Edge, and I got it for free because he was releasing Steam keys while he was in a public voice chat, and we all got to hang out with Blue Drake and play a little bit of Sector's Edge before release day. It was very good fun, and I recommend joining the Discord server because if you want to show off all your cool Teardown mods, it's a great place to go. And there's a lot of good things on there, as well as that save game file, which will also be in the link in the description, so you do not have to join the Discord server if you want that. So remember, save file will be in the link in the description with a tutorial that will be also in the link in the description to how you can get that working. Anyways, so I actually found myself getting a little disappointed at the fact that I had to complete the campaign for a full array of weapons that I really wanted but couldn't get. You see, it was quite annoying to me, but I got over it soon and realized that the campaign is still really fun. Just because that doesn't make or break your game experience, it just kind of makes it a little less. Because you know, the first thing I wanted to do, especially as I'm assuming a lot of other Teardown players want to do the first time they launched a game, was go into the sandbox and see what the physics had to offer. But sadly, we couldn't do that, and I'm sure a lot of people were disappointed as well as I was, because I couldn't go inside and play what I wanted to play. I had to do what the game kind of forced me to do, which is never, I'm not going to tell Dennis how to make a game, because obviously he's a professional at it, but still, it really made me sad, and a tip of advice, as from a player, don't force them to do something that you want them to do. Let them play your game how they want to play it. And Teardown does that in very good ways, as letting you do the heist you want to, and letting you play how you want to play. But I definitely think that you shouldn't make the players go on a scavenger hunt for their weapons that they want to use in Sandbox, especially making the maps unusable for those who don't play the story. What I would say he should do is make Teardown Lee Chemicals the first map that you're seeing probably on screen right now, which is the first map that was announced by Teardown, and it was the coolest one I've ever seen in a game for destruction. So I would love to see those pipes bend and that those vents shatter, but sadly I couldn't do that until I at least played 3 missions of the story. So advice, at least make Lee Chemicals a free to play. And I'm not saying it's free like no cost, but it's free because you have to pay the cost of playing the story. At least make Lee Chemicals so you're able to play it without having to play the story first. Because I really was looking forward to busting down as much as I could. So, Teardown comes in many different forms. It really runs quite well, actually. I played on, as I said, a GTX 1060. And Blue Drake played on a 970. And the game runs phenomenally. And I couldn't believe it before. They, on their unofficial Teardown Discord server, which you can join the link in the description, can actually show you what it would be like. And the performance test isn't there anymore, but it was there, and it was just fun. And there was also a free cam mod for it, so I got to see, and you got to basically run around Lee Chemicals flying with a couple bullets and see. But don't worry, it wasn't anything special. It was literally just a bullet that had no gun or anything. It was like a ball that you shot at the wall, basically. Nothing special, but it was still cool. But even when I was running through smoke and the fire particles were coming out of the end of the blowtorch, it ran perfectly fine. I only had drops in FPS when I went kind of crazy on my destruction, like not restarting or quick loading a save file. So I could basically have all these voxels laying around that really ruined my FPS. But, you know, it's fine, because even when you break a voxel, all the voxels you see that you broke don't actually stay there. As you keep hammering away at these voxels, they keep disappearing. But they give the illusion of a great voxel destruction. So, basically, let's take a look at the weapons. the Sledgehammer, the Spray Can, Extinguisher, Blowtorch, Shotgun, Plank, Pipe Bomb, Gun, and a Bomb. And a good old rocket. So you can basically explode things on impact. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the Sledgehammer. The Sledgehammer is the basic item that you're going to get at the start of the game. It can destroy basic things like wood, plastic, carpet, and bushes, and also glass. It cannot destroy brick or metal, but it can do a lot of things. It'll gonna help you get around the map easier on your first couple levels before you finally unlock that shotgun of yours. You can do pretty much anything with the Sledgehammer, but you are limited to what you can destroy. The next thing is the Spray Can. The Spray Can is a spray paint can. You can spray paint anywhere on the map, anywhere. In the trees, on walls, on the glass, and in the dirt. You can do it anywhere you want, and it probably will not affect your gameplay at all, as it's just retexturing those objects. It kind of, in a way, has realistic realistic spray paint. It literally spreads out the farther you face away, and it's pretty cool. And if you spray on a door and you shoot the door, then the voxels will stay colored, which is very cool. The voxels that you can pick up and smash to pieces will still stay that way. And it's pretty cool. I know it's something small, but it's still pretty neat. And the spray paint can, it will also help you navigate. Now, my personal favorite is the fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher looks so cool. It's particles, basically, with rigid bodies. Now, it is very simple, but if it's on a slanted edge or a wall, it will basically drip from the ceiling and leak. Kind of if you're on a slanted area, like a slant of a roof or the wall of a house. It will drip down the side, not falling. But if you're on a straight piece of, metal, it will not drip, but it will just fall. Which is pretty realistic, and it gets really satisfying when you get to see all that fall on top of each other like good old cotton candy. But it does get a little noisy under lights, and you're like, what do you mean noisy? I mean that in the rendering terms, noise. It is the particles that you can see before it renders. Now the blowtorch. The blowtorch is basically what you can use to break pretty much anything in small amounts and light wood and carpet and plastic on fire. When partnered up with the good old fire extinguisher, it puts out the fire when all of it's smothered. I would like to see a firefighter mission in Teardown, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. The next thing, also, it does this really cool thing when underwater. When underwater, it won't produce any fire at all, just smoke. When out of water, it will produce fire, like in plumes of fire. But in the water, it just produces bubbles and smoke, which is pretty cool because it's mostly realistic as the propane is being let out. Now we're going to move on to the classic shotgun, what we've all known and loved and saw in the trailer and saw in the teasers. The shotgun can pretty much break anything at all, and when I mean anything, I mean anything. The shotgun can break metal, it can break brick, it can break pretty anything that you throw at it. It can break vehicles, but the only thing that can't break is tires. Tires are indestructible for the sake of making a vehicle undrivable. But it's pretty cool, and it has a pretty small blast radius, which means it has a pretty big blast radius. But it also affects terrain, and that's pretty cool to me. And if you're farther away, it'll shoot little holes or nothing at all. When you're close up, it will shoot big holes. Now up to the planks. The planks are what really do it for me. The planks are very, very, very nice. They help you navigate through levels by making your own choices what you want to do. If there's a place that you can't get to, you can most likely use a plank. Sorry for the Discord notifications, but that's just Sorry for those. You most likely use a plank for them to get around. You can use it as a bridge or just a little bit of leverage. Cool thing about planks is they can also do a metal bonding attachment to anything in the map. So as I glue a box to a truck, it will carry the truck with it. Or the truck will carry the box with the wood attached to it. And it also does a cool ripping effect when you apply tension, or when you apply a tension between where one's tied to the ground and one's tied to the truck. It does pretty good stuff, honestly. It'll do a good ripping effect, which is pretty nice and doesn't affect performance at all. The next thing is the first explosive you will earn in Teardown, the pipe bomb. The pipe bomb is an explosive with a small blast radius, but it still does a lot of damage. It's fun to use when you need to make bigger holes than what you can kind of make, and to knock down big-sized buildings. Now, you can't really control where these go because they're flimsy and floppy, but be careful when you use them indoors. They can be really cool and shoot debris out of small holes like that truck. You can throw them outside of the wall and blow up trees with them. It won't really affect performance, but throwing a large amount might. You can also throw them at vehicles to break the vehicles, and lights, metal, and it basically breaks everything that you can throw at it. Besides things the game doesn't want you to break, such as the ground. The ground is actually a small inch. Oh yeah, and it also starts fires that will spread. It starts fires, and it basically just makes it easier for you to cause havoc on anything. The next thing is the gun. It's a pistol, but it's called the gun. It is basically a long-range shotgun with a much smaller blast radius. It can't really affect much, but it does have long range and unlimited ammo in Sandbox. It's fun to play around with, and you've probably most likely seen it in Blue Drake's videos from Early Access Teardown. You can break metal and brick with this. It's basically the same as a shotgun, just smaller blast radius, and it's longer range. And it's probably about the 8th thing you'll unlock. Sadly, again, yeah, I know, I wish I could unlock everything at the beginning too. The next thing is the bomb. This is similar to the pipe bomb, but it has a larger blast radius and can make for more precise explosions by being able to place them wherever you want. It does have a range to where and when you can place them, but it's still nice to be able to place something and know where it's going to blow up. Again, it can blow up metal and brick as easy as a shotgun or any other bomb that you could see. Now, this is where it starts little fires. It started little fires, and I thought it was pretty cool. Now, this part I found was cool that you're about to see. This part was really cool. As it shot from the floor, the smoking gas plumed under it, and it made it look like really cool physics. You can put out the fire by destroying every voxel that is connected to the fire, but it might cause a glitch. The last rocket is the last weapon that you can get. It's fun to play around with because it makes it so you can have long range and precise shots. It puts the pipe bomb and the C4 together by being able to throw something. You'll get this at the very end of the campaign, but if you download that 100% save file, you can get it right now. It doesn't affect performance and does have a delay, but it's still fun. You can knock down towers with this, as I'm about to do, but it's still a work in progress. Sometimes it won't shoot, but I am impressed with Teardown because when I tried to launch up Teardown for the first time, I had no glitches at all. Barely any, in fact, even within playing for 4 hours. So it can knock down towers and have a bigger blast radius. As I said, it puts the pipe bomb and the C4 together, giving you both the properties of them. It's a very good thing to have in your inventory because it can cause for much more fun in the teardown world. Now, that's going to be it for this video, but my final review. Is Teardown awesome? Should you buy it? Final review is, yeah. Yes, I do. You should buy it. It's freaking amazing. The performance is great. The lighting is amazing. The new version of Dennis's own ray tracing looks great, and it just has the best destruction out there. So I do think you could play Teardown for a good amount of 20 hours until you're going to need some mods. I think that this needs to heavily rely on the community for it because the developers, it's going to take them a while to add more content. These maps aren't easy, people. I've used Magician Voxel before. Texturing these maps would be a nightmare. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked it, subscribe, and remember, the 100% save files link in the Discord and those two servers. One is the modding server, and two is the unofficial, but probably will be the official Teardown Discord server for all your questions. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all very, 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 very soon. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. See you later. Bye.